Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the after-hours sea-based informational session for our Bahamas programs. This is part of a series of informational sessions we are holding for our 2024 sea-based cruise. You'll notice that some details in each presentation will vary, and it's true. We do our best to standardize as much as possible, but Sea-Base's high adventure programs are operated from 4 amazing and different locations and consist of 18 different programs with some varied operational requirements. We operate out of 2 locations in the Florida Keys, our main sea-based location right here in Almirada, Florida, and the Britain Environmental Center in Summerland Key, St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and on the Abaco Islands in the Bahamas. Our directors each also have differing perspectives about what is most important to review for preparation. When communicating with Sea-Base or reviewing requirements, it's important to know the program your unit is registered for. We have a staff member monitoring the comment section of this live event. So if any questions arise as you watch, type them into the comment section. We'll take about 5 minutes after the presentation to answer some of the questions out loud. Presentations will be recorded and published to the Sea-Base website within 2 to 3 business days, along with PowerPoint slides. This presentation will review requirements and recommendations for the following Sea-Base high adventure programs: the Bahamas Adventure 6 to 8, Bahamas Adventure 10 to 12, and the Bahamas Tall Ship. Without further ado, here's the presentation for our Bahamas programs.
Hello and hello. Thank you for tuning in to the Sea-Base Bahamas informational video. My name is Josh Stoneman. I've been a captain in the Sea-Base Bahamas fleet for several years now. I love it over there, and this is going to serve as just kind of an overview of either what am I signing up for or what have I signed up for. So we're going to go through a slideshow here, just kind of giving an overview of the whole program. Hopefully answer a lot of questions that you may have. The first thing that you need to know is that depending on your crew size, there are 3 different size vessels that we have in the Bahamas Sea-Base. So we've got vessels that accommodate 6 to 8 participants, 10 to 12 participants, and 18 to 20 participants. So know that when you sign up, these vessels will be assigned to you based on how many participants you have. As far as eligibility goes, general eligibility, you have to be a registered member of BSA. You have to have your BSA swim classification. You must be at least 13 years old, medically approved to participate, and able to obtain a passport. So passport cards do not work. It has to be a passport book. For some of you, this might be your first time applying for a passport, so look up what it might be to obtain that. You don't need it when you sign up, but you do need it, of course, before you are able to come. For adult leaders, you need to complete all of those. In addition, you have to complete your training certificate. So we'll go over that here in just a little bit. 18, 19, 20-year-olds are welcome to come. They are treated as an adult, but they're not a supervising adult. According to BSA, a supervising adult is 21 years or older. So just know that. Of course, ratios are always observed, ratios of males to females and youth to adults. Paperwork, everybody's favorite topic. This is really important. Paperwork makes the dream work, am I right? Here's some of the paperwork, just at a glance by the crew. Your crew roster is due 90 days prior to arrival, so you should have adequate time to get that together, get everybody signed up, and go through all of that. The pre-event medical screening, you should fill this out just prior to departing for Sea-Base. There's a vessel liability waiver, so this is for us captains and our insurance. And you're going to leave just the first 2 spots blank because you don't know what vessel you're going to be on yet. So once you get there, you'll hand that over to the captain of the boat and he'll help you fill that out. Make sure you have that with you. You need your swim classifications and your BSA medical release forms. It's got to be the 2019 version. Remember, it's good for 1 year. And you need copies of your insurance cards front and back. Don't forget your passport. I think it's always helpful to make copies of your passports and keep them in the binders as well. And for the Bahamas, we need a Bahamas consent form because you're going to be traveling with minors internationally. So we need permission from the legal guardians to do that. For adults, again, like we said, the adults, everything that we just mentioned, but also at least one adult leader needs CPR and AED trained, and also have their wilderness first aid or greater certification. So or greater means if you're a medical doctor or a registered nurse, some of these types of degrees and things will trump the wilderness first aid. So just know that. Each adult leader is also going to need to complete their Youth Protection Certificate, Safe Swim Defense Certificate, Safety Afloat Certificate, and Hazardous Weather Certificate. Hopefully there's no hazardous weather, but in the event of any of that, you're going to need it. Here's some common mistakes on the medical form. So you can see all the highlighted areas. All of these areas need filled out before you come. Make sure you don't leave the doctor's office without him signing this. So you can just put a highlighter mark next to all these, and remember, these have to all be filled out. So don't forget that. As far as an adventure overview, what are we doing in the Bahamas? There's really no itinerary. Each trip is unique to that troop, which makes it really cool, but also it kind of is hard to give any expectations of what you're going to be doing. It depends on the captain, the boat, the crew, and the weather. You are signing up for a proper adventure. Even us captains a lot of times don't know what the week is going to look like. Essentially, though, you can count on swimming every day, multiple times a day, going to several different islands, beaches, towns, uninhabited islands, exploring nature, all that kind of stuff. You can expect shipwrecks, reefs. There are some really cool underwater areas in Abaco that just are awesome to explore and check out. And yeah, sailing and snorkeling and fishing the entire way. So all of that, and beyond that, it's up to Mother Nature what all that looks like and in what order. So come prepared just to not know. And just be ready for whatever. On your arrival day, you're going to want to arrive between 1 and 4 p.m. and having eaten lunch before you show up. You're going to go to the Conch Inn Marina at Marsh Harbor. So crews typically fly into the Marsh Harbor Airport, and from the airport, crews should take the first available taxi to the Conch Inn Marina, anticipating about $5 or $10 per person per trip. All of the taxi drivers know scouts. We give them a ton of business. It's a very small airport. It's a very small community. They're going to see you guys coming in your uniforms, and they're going to know, okay, they're going to the Conch Inn. Some of the taxi drivers are starting to take cards, but everyone takes cash. It is a 1-to-1 exchange rate, and they take USD, so no need to exchange or try to deal in Bahamian dollars when you get to the airport. They take US dollars at a 1-to-1 exchange. So once you get to the Conch Inn, you're going to be greeted by some of our directors, and you'll be in touch with them. Make sure you send them a message as soon as you land so that they can be in touch with where you're at and how you're coming along. You can message them on WhatsApp or text. However, they'll let you know how to get a hold of them. And they're going to go through your paperwork and your check-in and do an arrival briefing. So all that's going to take place at the Conch Inn there. After boarding, there'll be an orientation and a swim and snorkel review. So as a captain, I'm going to go through all of the pertinent safety information, everything that's unique to my vessel, how things are going to kind of run with the crew chief responsibilities. All of this is going to be a whole nother briefing from your captain once you're on board. And then your first night is going to be at anchor. Every night after that's going to be at anchor or on a mooring. So days 2 through 5 then, we're going to be going out on, exploring the Bahamas and everything it has to offer. So beaches, reefs, shipwrecks, small settlements, historical sites, fishing, sailing, you name it. There's so much to do. It's just a blast. The departure day, crews need to be ready to depart as early as necessary. So some of your flights might be earlier. The captain will totally accommodate whatever your flight is, but it can't be any later than 11 a.m. That gives the captain and crews adequate time to prepare for the next trip. After your adventure, if you earn patches while you're at sea base, there are some that are unique to high adventure that you can't earn, so like Duty to God or the Captain's Club or the BSA Snorkel. If you got these while you're on Sea Base Bahamas, you can order those after you get home online. Recommended prep. A scout is prepared, am I right? I'm going to take a break here just real quick from the slide and say, as a captain, one of the biggest hindrances that I see to crews coming in that is preventable is that a lot of people just are not adequately familiar with their snorkel gear. So we see a lot of guys pulling off brand new stickers from their mask and snorkel, having to adjust straps and all that stuff. It really should be standard practice of troops that are coming to any sea base. Have the whole troop jump in a pool, splash each other, dive for rings, get waves going. It's not enough just to go to Walmart and pick up a $15.99 mask and see if it fits, and then come. You're going to be in the ocean. There's going to be current. There's going to be salt. There's going to be waves. You want to wear it more than about 5 minutes to know, is this mask going to give me a headache? Does it work? Does it seal if I have a mustache, you adult leaders? So get to know your gear. It's really going to do you a lot of good to familiarize yourself with your equipment. An adequate prep plan might be to do the BSA swim test, just like I kind of described. 6 months prior to arrival, you guys should be in the pools, in the rivers, the lakes, whatever's around you. Get in the water and start using your gear. You're going to have a much better time if you're able to, just be familiar with your equipment. Snorkel, practice clearing your mask, practice clearing your snorkel, all that stuff. You can look at nautical maps and compass navigation if you want. Your captain will be going over a nav lesson when you show up, so something to be familiar with. You can also look at local instruction if your area offers any kind of classes or anything on VHF marine radio, safety flares, man overboard procedures, all this kind of stuff. Again, the captain will go over once you're on board, but if you want to study ahead, you're more than welcome to. Adult leaders play an important role in ensuring safety aboard. So this is a scout-led trip until things start becoming unsafe. So that's when the adult leaders, we're going to be asking you to intervene and help us keep an eye on all the participants. It'd be great, I think, for the adult leaders to get together and kind of discuss any scenarios they could foresee being potential safety hazards. Also reviewing your safe swim defense training and safety afloat training. All this is helpful. Then 6, 7, 8, and 9 here on the list are some videos that you can watch and review. There's a guide to high adventure sailing. There's a video on parts of a boat, parts of a rig, and points of sail. These are all things that you're going to be using on the trip. So it's just something fun and cool to go through with your troop before you arrive. So for the packing list, we're going to break this down into 2 different categories. There's a crew packing list, and these are items that are specific to like the group. What does the group need? And then personal packing, obviously, that's for you as an individual. So for the crew packing, you're going to want your crew roster, your youth protection training copies, safe swim training copies, safety afloat training copies. Basically, all of the paperwork ought to be consolidated into a big binder. I think that it's helpful. You can do it however you want. Some of you guys are way more organized than I am. I think it's helpful to consolidate it in one binder organized by category, not individual. So you can make sure that, if they ask for your medical forms when you go to check-in, you can pull out all of the medical forms really easy. That just helps go through there. And as long as you have enough medical forms for all your participants, you should be fine. Same thing with the wilderness first aid and all the adult training certificates. Copies of your insurance cards, your crew first aid kit, make sure that's up to date and adequately stocked. And then a medium-sized dry bag for shore excursions and things like that. You might be getting wet in the rain, the salt water, whatever it is. So all that's good for the crew. As far as personal packing, bring 2 UPF long sleeve shirts. Personally, I live here and I wear these all day long. I swim in these shirts. I don't even really apply sunscreen as long as I'm wearing these shirts. So I'll snorkel in and everything and hardly ever get sunburned. So these shirts are a game changer. Rain gear, you're going to want to wear rain gear. You're coming to the tropics in the spring or summer, so make sure you bring in adequate rain gear. Wide-brimmed hat, polarized sunglasses, buff, water bottle with a carabiner, no metal water bottles, please and thank you. Biodegradable, reef-safe sunscreen, no aerosol or spray sunscreens. Toiletry kit, just a pro tip, it's not on the list, but you might bring some monkey butt or baby powder just to, to help with some chafe. Pro tip there. Moving on. Some regular shorts, 2 pairs of swimming shorts, 1 pair of light pants, a pair of sandals, 2 pairs of just regular socks, a headlamp, 2 towels, lightweight sleeping pad, lightweight sleeping cover, small pillow, spending money, $150 to $200 for eating out, souvenirs, taxis, things like that. Your passport book, whatever prescription medicine you normally take, don't change your medicine up just for this trip. Consult your doctor on all of that stuff, including seasick medicine, all that thing. A pair of neoprene socks is recommended for chafe on your foot and a fin. So consider that. It doesn't need to be super beefy neoprene sock, but just anything light that can help prevent that. A waterproof camera, of course, and your mask and snorkel. We don't permit full face masks, just a regular mask and snorkel. A couple things that are about this list. If you're coming in the spring or winter, be mindful that it might be a little bit chilly. So people don't consider that. They might look at the weather and say, oh, it's going to be 68 degrees. That sounds so warm. But if it's raining and blowing 20 knots out of the north, it's going to feel chilly at night. So you might consider bringing a actual, thicker sleeping bag, or, some sweatpants or something like that if you're coming in a different time of year. Also, something that's not on this list that I would recommend is maybe some underwear. So you can do what you want with that. What not to bring, okay? We encourage all participants to unplug during the entirety of their adventure. Phones and all electronic devices are strongly discouraged. But it's my camera. I'll say this, after having hundreds of scouts come on board and come through our vessel in my time at Sea Base, the troops that just say no phones get a better experience. There's going to be several cameras and GoPros and things like that floating around the boat. Borrow those, have a shared album afterwards. Adult leaders, scouts are going to follow your lead. You can lead by example. You don't need your phone on you all the time to keep in touch with every parent and mom back home. Just feel free to disconnect. It's a great time to do it. It's really discouraged for you guys to have your phones all the time. Firearms or fireworks, obviously. Aerosol, sunscreen, or insect repellent. Please bring insect repellent. Please bring sunscreen, but don't bring any spray sunscreen or aerosol insect repellent. Personal music players or video games, obviously leave all that at home. Mess kits. The boats are going to be equipped and stocked with all of the cooking tools that we need. Valuable or unnecessary items. Leave your smartwatches and your Rolexes at home. You don't need, just unnecessary stuff. And then spear guns. Yes, I asked Sea Base. They said no. Spear guns are prohibited. I'm sorry. Let's go through just a few frequently asked questions that we get a lot. What kind of shoes can we wear on the boat? None. Okay. The boat shoe policy is no shoes. Now, you're going to want shoes, obviously, to go through the towns. They don't have to be closed-toed shoes. They can be like Chacos. Crocs are great. Tevas are great. If you want to just rock the Sockos through the airport, that's awesome. Tennis shoes just do not work. They get absolutely covered in sand. Once they get wet, they don't really dry out. Tennis shoes are pretty discouraged, so just know that. Will we get a shower on this trip? You won't get a shower on this trip. If your troop is really good at conserving water on the boat, you guys can take a freshwater rinse at the end of the week, depending on the boat and how you guys do. Now, people think I'm punking them when I tell them this, but I'm not. This is real. It's called a Joy bath. So we call it Joy because it's Joy dish soap is what we get in the Bahamas. And you can actually jump in the salt water and then use Joy dish soap to lather up just like body wash and shampoo. Hop back in the water and rinse off. It helps cut all the grease, the grime, the sunscreen. You feel like $1,000,000. And even I do that. It's really not that bad. So don't wait until the end of the week to try that. You can be doing that all week, of course. What is a crew chief? So a crew chief is our point leader, scout, go-to guy. He or she is the individual that's going to be leading the scouts and organizing the troop. So this is going to involve, so for me, when on our boat, I will use the crew chief to help organize duty rotations and responsibilities, organize the troop. Anything that is leadership related is going to go through the crew chief. This is a scout-led trip. So just know that this individual needs to be nominated or selected before you arrive. Don't wait until you get here to come up with who that person's going to be. Do that before you come. And it's great if this is not their first experience leading. This is not the time to really kind of cut your teeth and lead. They should have prior leadership experience and be able to take on the reins for that. Speaking of rain, do I need rain gear? Yes, you're coming to the tropics. It's going to rain somewhere every day in the tropics in and around the Bahamas, so be ready for that. It may be on us. Can I bring luggage with wheels? No. They just scuff the boat up too much. We really discourage any luggage with wheels. Please don't bring that. Last slide, and then we're done here with our portion, and we'll move on in the video. Is there storage in the Bahamas? No, there's no storage. Everything that you bring with you is going to be going aboard the vessel. Will we stay in a marina? No. We're going to be at anchor or mooring ball every night, and it's always going to be in a different location, but we'll be moving the boat. We won't be coming to or from a marina at all. Can the Bahamas accommodate food allergies? Yes. We are very limited, though, in what we can provide. It might not be your favorite specification of food, but nut allergies, shellfish allergies. Just be in touch with Seabase headquarters about what your dietary restrictions are, whether they're for religious reasons or allergies, medical reasons. Just let them know, and we will do our best. Thank you for remembering that we are not a restaurant, though. We are a sailboat in a foreign country, and you're on a high adventure trip. So just be mindful of that, and we will work with you. We have a great track record, actually, of no one starving on the trip. So anyways, do I need cash? Yeah, you need cash for a few different things. The cab ride, restaurants, souvenirs. Some places take credit cards, but again, everybody takes cash. So to remember, again, there's no exchange rate. So you don't need to exchange money there. It's 1-to-1. $1 in the United States is worth $1 in the Bahamas, and they take US dollars. So no need to exchange that. No need to do any fancy math. It's very simple. Can I bring my own fishing gear? There's really no need. If you have the lucky lure that you want to bring, it's not going to sink the boat, but you don't need to bring fishing rods and all this stuff. We have everything that we need. And I love fishing on our boat. We can fish basically anytime we're not in a park. So when we're sailing along, we'll troll. And when we're at anchor, we will, drop down. Really, the only thing that we don't like is any casting on board. You can imagine on our boat, we have up to 20 people walking around with sails and a dinghy and all this kind of stuff. And something about throwing a weighted hook over your shoulder and jerking it forward just doesn't seem to go well. So just be mindful of that it's not a fishing charter per se, but we love to fish. Whether or not we are fishing or catching is a very different scenario. So thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you gained a lot of good information for this. And we'll be in touch. We can't wait to see you out here at Seabase Bahamas.
Thank you for listening to our presentation about the Bahamas, one of the best programs that we offer. We're going to answer a few comments and questions from the chat. And the first is this: do you recommend cost-smart lodging in the Abacos? And the answer is we don't recommend any lodging at any one of our facilities because we know everyone's preferences are different. Right? Some individuals will want to stay in a high-class resort. Others will want to be as cost-efficient as possible. We don't have a direct affiliation with any of the hotels in the Bahamas, so no, we don't make any recommendations. Next is, what is the first meal that will be served when we arrive at Seabase? And the answer to that will be dinner the first night. So Josh mentioned you need to arrive having already had lunch. There are plenty of opportunities to buy food, including restaurants in the Bahamas. So go ahead and stop, have lunch, and then check in. Our team will be communicating with you prior to your arrival, and then upon your arrival in the Abacos. One thing that I do want to mention, when you stop and you have food, this is a scout adventure. You represent the Boy Scouts of America. Everyone on island will know that you're a scout unit. We are the biggest business during the summertime in the Abacos. So that means the youth need to act appropriately. That also means the adults need to act appropriately. One of the things that you'll notice from our participant guide is there's absolutely no alcohol aboard the trip. Unfortunately, we've had multiple individuals over the years that have chosen to drink alcohol prior to arriving, and then they arrive in a state or a manner in which we can't accept them. So do not drink alcohol when you're in the Abacos. Likely we're going to receive a phone call and say, hey, I've served this individual, but it's a Boy Scout troop and you need to be aware. So it's a small community, please act appropriately. Next question, what will the last meal be on our final day? And that will be breakfast. So you'll have an opportunity to have breakfast aboard the boat. However, some of you are going to be flying out early. We understand that. We will make sure that you have the earliest breakfast that you can, and then we're going to put you on put you in a position where you can get to the airport as quickly as you need to. Next question is about the height and weight guidelines. So as you read the BSA AHMR, it says you should meet the BSA height and weight guidelines. We try to encourage everyone to meet those guidelines. It's important that you, as an adult leader, are healthy, that you can act as part of our safe swim defense while we're actively participating at sea. So make sure that you are in good shape. No one over 295 pounds can participate in any program at Sea Base. And why is that? The primary reason is all of our rescue equipment is rated for 300 pounds, right? So if we can't get you or a young person out of the water and attend to their medical needs, then we can't serve that. So it's important that you weigh less than 295 pounds, but that you're in very good condition, that you're prepared for the adventure, and you're working up through swimming and other things to be able to meet the needs of the crew while you're out on the boat. Next question is, some medical providers do not fill out the BSA form, and they will not fill out the BSA form. Is it acceptable to use the form from our healthcare provider or health system? And the answer to that is kind of. You very much need to fill out the BSA AHMR because there's a waiver portion and there's an acceptance of risk portion at the top of the form on page 1, so part A. So you have to fill out all of A and B, and then if you want to attach parts A and B to the health services form that is provided to you, we'll accept that. But you must fill out parts A and B. Even if you've been to another high adventure base and that high adventure base has said don't worry about it, that is not BSA policy. So we are going to require all the proper documentation as is required by the National Office of the Boy Scouts of America. So you have to have BSA form, BSA AHMR, and you have to complete parts A and B and attach it to the health services form. Next, can you explain the unit swim classification? Yes, I can. So unit swim classification form is a way, obviously you have to pass the BSA swim test prior to arriving and participating in any sea-based adventure. It's a water-based adventure. You have to be prepared while you're in the water, while you're participating in your adventure, but also as an adult leader, you have to be prepared to assist and help in an emergency situation. So everyone has to be a swimmer. You cannot be certified as a beginner. You must be certified as a swimmer. So the unit swim classification form, you can find it on our website. You can also find it in the participant guides. Go ahead and look at those. And every individual who's on your roster must complete the BSA swim test as a swimmer. Next, if we have a female adult, how do we provide accommodations for this person? Great question. Sea Base, founded in 1980, was founded as a co-educational high adventure base serving young men and women. So since our founding, we've had young women in all of our programs at all of our locations actively participating. We've also had female adult leaders participating in all of our facilities. When it comes to sailboats, every sailboat is going to be different. None of them are the same. As a result, the accommodations will vary, but we will work very hard and we will ensure that we have proper accommodations for everyone aboard the boat. But again, answering that question blanket in terms of each different type of vessel that we have is not something that we can do as of right now. Is there definitely no storage at the base camp? That question is, we don't have a base camp in the Bahamas. So in all of our Bahamas Sea Base programs, you immediately get aboard the vessel, take part in your adventure, you get off the vessel, and then you go, right? So we don't have any storage, we don't have a camp. So be prepared to take everything that you bring aboard the vessel with you. Leave everything that's non-essential at home. please don't bring it with you. With that said, I think that we've covered all of the questions for today. We look forward to serving you in the Bahamas and the Abacos, and look forward to helping you prepare.